Taste to Consider podcast. That was Robin Thicke, Love After War. That used to be my jam back when it came out. I forgot all about that jam. I heard it the other night. Man, I've been playing that jam non-stop ever since. Like that jam been on repeat, 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 repeat. That's a sexy ass song. And it's crazy because when I was listening to it so much over the past day or so, I was like, it's something about this song. I keep hearing somebody else in this song. I was like, I hear Marvin Gaye, but I also hear Michael Jackson. So after listening to it so much last night and so much this morning, I decided to actually look up the writer of the song and, figure out, why it sounds so familiar to me. And I looked it up, and Marvin Gaye actually has a writing credit on the song. And the other writer on the song, other than Robin Thicke, was a dude named Leon Ware. So I looked Leon Ware up. And Leon Ware, he's a songwriter, been producing music for a minute. And he produced and wrote for Marvin Gaye and Michael Jackson. So I was like, I know I wasn't tripping. Like I'm good with hearing sounds and people taking patterns from other artists and stuff like that. And I'm a big Marvin Gaye fan as it is, as well as a Michael Jackson fan. And I was like, I keep hearing Marvin Gaye and Michael Jackson, but I thought it was just one of them. I didn't think that it was both of them. But once I looked up the writers and stuff, and then I started listening to the song more and more, I was like, yeah, I can hear both Marvin Gaye and Michael Jackson in it. The cadences, the ad libs, all that. I was like, damn, that's why I love the damn song so much. But yeah, it's a Taste to Consider podcast. We are back for another episode, and it is July 5th, and July is Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. So make sure you spread the word, Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. Make sure you take your mental health seriously. Do something for yourself this month. Do a lot of stuff for yourself. Every week, find something different to do for yourself. Burp number 1 is coming. And burp number 2. Now, this show, I'm actually drinking. So for all the YouTube viewers right now, y'all actually see the glass on the table. But for the listeners on Spotify, Apple, and wherever other streaming services you listening to, you can't see it. But this particular show, I'm drinking. Last show, I wasn't drinking, and I burped like 10-something times. And I don't know what the hell that was about. Maybe it was nervousness or something. But yeah, we back for another episode. Now I got like for all the listeners that know the show and listen regularly, y'all know I do outlines for the show and stuff. Like I've never did an outline so long before for a show, and this outline long as hell. So I don't even know if I'm gonna get to everything. Like I'm actually wasting time talking right now, but it's all good. Nah, I gotta keep, you know what I'm saying? I can't just keep it so robotic. I gotta inject what's going on, what I'm feeling, all that good stuff. But yeah, shout out to all the subscribers, supporters, listeners, viewers. I appreciate y'all. And like I always say, it costs you nothing to share, download, like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. It literally costs you nothing. You know what I'm saying? So do that favor for me, and support your boy even more. Now, where do I begin? Okay, I just released a new episode 17, Taste for Words. So make sure you check that out on YouTube, A Taste to Consider Network. Like I said on the last show, I'm going to get back to the taste reviews, drink edition, in August. So that will be coming back, and it will be coming back weekly. I was doing it bi-weekly at first, but this time, now it's going to be coming weekly. So make sure you, be on the lookout for that. I always promote it on my social media pages, wherever you follow me at, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, And I play around with TikTok every now and then. It's a lot of work. So yeah, um, let's get to the show. Like I was gonna start off with yeah, the other day, right? I got a story for you, just a little reflection, just something I wanted to share for the show. Um, I did a meditation yesterday, and it was a guided meditation, and this meditation was about celebrating your achievements. And in the midst of the guided meditation, they ask you or tell you to think of achievements and stuff or whatever that you've had in your life and stuff like that. And there was something that's been on my mind lately, that I was surprised that I had a change of heart about. Um, and I'm not sure if I told this story before on the show, but when I was finishing up my bachelor's degree, the last thing I had to do was an internship, but I could only do the internship during the summertime, and I was doing my internship with the public television station in my area, PG, Prince George's County television. It was a news station and all that other stuff. But just station period. They had the news program. They had other types of other shows and stuff like that too. And I remember asking, asking Bowie State if I could still walk across the stage even though I wasn't going to be finished. And my argument to them was, this is an internship. Who fails an internship? I was like, this is the only thing I have to do. Can I still walk with my class? And they was like, no. They was like, you got to do the internship and then you can walk the next year. And I was just like pissed at that point. I was pissed. I was like done with it at that point. But I have talked about this on the pod before, how like my college years were some of the most difficult years for me because me going through depression and anxiety, and I didn't even know I was going through it at the time. You know what I'm saying? I had to really understand that I was really in a bad place back then, and a lot of the decisions that I was making while I was in school, and was because of the depression and anxiety that I was experiencing. And I was just done with, I was done with college at that point. You know what I'm saying? Keep it 100. I passed the 4 years. I passed the 4 years. It took me longer than 4 years to graduate, because I just wasn't, particularly in the early stages of me going to college, like my freshman and sophomore year, I had no guidance. I had no confidence. I had no security. I had nothing. Like I was literally just going through the motions. I was straight on autopilot. Like it didn't really change for me until the round. It didn't change for me until my junior and senior year of college. But I've already, failed classes during my freshman and sophomore year. So I had to repeat a lot of stuff. So like I said, I didn't graduate in 4 years like I was supposed to. But honestly, during that time, like even before I started going to the college, it was kind of shaky or whatever because like I didn't. I remember when I got accepted to Bowie State, and I remember going outside getting the mail. I didn't know that the acceptance letter was going to come, but I remember going outside to get the letter, and I remember seeing it. So I'm excited and nervous at the same time that I'm seeing this letter. So I walk in the house, my mom's sitting on the couch, and I stand there in the kitchen and I'm opening in the letter. And it says, you've been accepted into Bowie State, da 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 da. That was my second acceptance letter because I was accepted also into University of Maryland, College Park. And I remember my mom was on the phone sitting on the couch. I was in the kitchen, opened the letter. I was accepted and all that other stuff. So I was excited, two acceptance letters. And I remember telling my mother, and she just was like, I don't even think she had a response. it was not. It wasn't really, you know what I'm saying, on her mind or whatever. And I remember, um, just the whole process of applying for colleges and stuff like that. I didn't have any help. I got an older brother. My brother at that time, he was doing. I think he was doing his master's degree at that time, I believe. And well, he either already graduated. Either way, he's been in college already. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't really have any help from him. I didn't have any help from my parents. So it was kind of like me doing all this on my own. And honestly, like at the time, I did want to go to college, but you know what I'm saying, the the desire and the behind it also was because everybody else that I knew was going to college from high school or whatever. My girlfriend at the time, all my boy, well, not all of them, some of them, you know what I'm saying? So I had, I've always had ambition and stuff like that, but I just never really had the push or the discipline and stuff like that. And just college was just, you know what I'm saying? I was just lost. When I was like the early stages of college, I was just lost. I was depressed. I was anxious. I was scared. I was just, you know what I'm saying? I had nobody. I was all by myself. I had no type of guidance at all. And, I guess with me being in college for a while and failing some classes and getting older, you know what I'm saying? I started picking it up, and junior, senior year, I started learning some more things about how to really um, separate my workload and stuff like that. Because I was working at the time as well. I had a job. You know what I'm saying? I've been working ever since I was 13. So, um, I made the dean's list a few times, junior, senior year, whatever like that. But I still was lost. I still had no guidance and stuff like that. So, but during around college, it was like another like culture shock for me, just being alone. Like when I first started high school, and this is where um my therapist have pinpointed when my depression really started, uh was when I first started high school and I moved from my childhood neighborhood to a new neighborhood and stuff. So it kind of like was a culture shock for me as far as me understanding and seeing that, you know what I'm saying, I don't have the same friends no more. And so it basically showed me like I'm alone. Me and my brother wasn't really close. We 6 years apart and stuff, and he was in college and stuff like that. And my relationship with my parents wasn't close or anything like that. So I was just alone. I was all by myself. So it was like another culture shock once I got to college. It was like a repeat situation from when I moved from my childhood neighborhood to my neighborhood where I went to high school at and stuff like that. And it's crazy because I'm like kind of fleshing out even deeper some of this stuff right now, talking about it. But yeah, just to go back, because I went all over the place. But I wasn't able to walk across the stage, so they told me I had to wait a whole nother year, a whole nother summer to walk across the stage. So I was like, fuck it. I was like, just mail me my degree. And but it's crazy because like the past couple of weeks and stuff, like I kind of been regretting it. I've been kind of like wishing that I did walk across the stage. But I didn't really have, you know what I'm saying? I didn't really care because nobody around me cared. My parents wasn't asking me about my grades. They weren't saying when is your graduation and all that other stuff. Let me know so we can invite family for the graduation. Do you want to party and stuff like that? So it was just like I didn't care because nobody else cared. But just going through that meditation and stuff like that and just thinking like, I've done very well for myself despite the mental and emotional crap that I've gone through in my life. Even though, some of it was high functioning depression and stuff like that, I've still achieved and accomplished a lot. And that meditation kind of helped me out to push myself more to, celebrate myself and my achievements and my accomplishments. And now I do wish I walked across that stage. But I'll be damned if I'm going back to school to get my master's and be writing a whole bunch of papers just so I can walk across the stage. That ain't the case right now. Nah, I'm not doing that. But yeah, that was a little story, some reflection, introspection that I wanted to share with the show. But let's move on. And get going with the show. I'm gonna play this clip from Joyce Myers. It's a little funny story, and it really is tying into a lot of what this episode is about. Y'all know how I do with the clips. Is we throw the clips around and I get some commentary on it. So here we go. And let me put out a disclaimer right now. I'm not, a disclaimer. I'm not trying to beat up on the ladies today or whatever, but I got ultimately it's gonna be from a man's perspective, but a lot of this stuff is about uh, the ladies and relationships and stuff like that. But we got the Blackety Black Woke segment. I like I've said before plenty of times on the pod, I can't stand doing all this relationship stuff. So that's why I try to take it from the angle of, mental health and stuff like that, because I think, well, I ain't even gonna say think. I know that people don't really take time to understand that mental health really plays a big part in their relationships, particularly romantic relationships. I just started reading this new book today about attachment theories, and that's one of the big points that the author has been pushing in the book or whatever, is that everybody has an attachment style, and we shouldn't fault each other for it. We should learn how to work with them. And I think there's something missing from a lot of these podcasts that be doing this gender wars and these relationship talks and stuff like that. They looking for viral moments and stuff like that. I try to speak from experience. I try to speak whether it's personal experience or things that I've seen, and just trying to put a spin on it from the mental health aspect so people can look at it from a different point of view, and we can all learn how to take accountability and be more aware of the things that we've gone through that affect how we interact with our significant others. But here go the clip. I'm still a little rusty. I forgot I turned the dial down for the volume.
New York City. It's called the Husband Store. And you can go there and shop for a husband. There's 6 floors in this store. You can only visit each floor one time, though. And each floor you go up, the value increases. You may choose any item from any particular floor, but you can go up a floor, but you cannot go back down. So there was a woman who went to the husband store to find herself a husband. On the first floor, the sign on the door read, "These men have jobs." That sounded good. These men have jobs. Floor 2 says, "These men have jobs and love kids." Floor number 3 said, "These men have jobs, love kids, and are extremely good looking." Wow, she thought, this is sounding pretty good, but I'm compelled to go on to the next floor. Well, she does go to the 4th floor, and the sign reads, "These men have jobs, love kids, are drop dead, good looking, and they help with the housework." Oh, mercy me, she said, I can hardly stand it. Still, she said, I've got to go on. She went to the 5th floor. "These men have jobs, love kids, are drop dead, gorgeous, help with the housework, and have a very strong romantic streak." But she couldn't stand it. She decided she had to just find out what was on floor number 6. Floor number 6 said, "You are visitor 31,456. To this floor, there are no men on this floor. This floor exists solely as proof that women are impossible to please." New York City.
Yeah. So I thought that was a funny clip. And it's kind of a introduction to some of the topics that some of the clips and stuff that I'll be playing. But hey, That was a woman talking. So, and when it comes down to it, it's not all women. I know that. And what I always say, if you get triggered by it, that means it's true. And that's okay. The triggers are there for you, for us to make different choices, make different decisions, have a different perspective, try something different, learn something new, something, that's there for it's a purpose. But let's move on to the next clip.
4 qualities men find irresistible in women. Number 1, receptiveness. A man wants a woman that will receive all the things he wants to provide for her: his leadership, his opinions, his gifts, his compliments, his lovemaking, his solutions to your problems, all the things. Number 2, compassion. Compassion gives you access into one's life. If you want to have influence in his life, show him some compassion. Compassion says, I understand. This is huge for men. Number 3, vulnerability. Men find vulnerable women irresistible. I am talking about strong, capable, intelligent women who voluntarily make themselves vulnerable, willing to need a man, allowing him to contribute to your life, willing to be known, the good, the bad, and the annoying. And number 4, serenity. Men crave peace, especially after a long, hard day at work. Men are drawn to women who are at peace with themselves and their world, and who provide a safe, peaceful space.
So, paraphrasing that, stop being so damn controlling, manly. It's like that. But nah, yeah, everything she said in that joint, I absolutely agree with. Starting with the receptiveness. I'm gonna play it again now. We can
4
pause and play.
qualities men find irresistible in women. Number 1, receptiveness. A man wants a woman that will receive all the things he wants to provide for her: his leadership, his opinions, his gifts, his compliments, his lovemaking, his solutions to your problems, all the things.
And that don't mean that you have to agree with everything. That just means being receptive to it. That's why words are important. People always, y'all know how I feel about this. People always just be throwing words away and just be talking about actions, actions, actions. That's cool and everything, but words are important. So the word she used was receptive. She didn't say agree with everything that he say, or go along with everything that the man says, or follow every movement he makes. She says being receptive. That means being open to it. You don't have to agree with everything, or, it's just being receptive to it. And that makes a man feel as though that he's a man, for one. Another, it makes him feel that he's part of your life. Another, that makes him feel that you actually value him, his opinions, etc., etc. I can go on and on, but number 2.
Number 2, compassion. Compassion gives you access into one's life. If you want to have influence in his life, show him some compassion. Compassion says, I understand. This is huge for men. Number 3,
Compassion. It's as easy as just, like, I understand where you're coming from, what point of view you're coming from. If he's being vulnerable with you, I understand how you feel. How can I, help in this situation? How can I make you feel better, et cetera, et cetera? And you will have so much influence over him. He will open up more and more to you. Like, this whole video right here, just the 4 things that she's saying, it just straight comes down to actually appreciating and valuing a man for being who he is as a person, and not getting caught up into them stigmas and them stereotypes and them narratives that most women have been indoctrinated with, that keep them from looking at a man as separate than just being a provider and a protector. We are human beings as well. Disney done killed Ja in killed a lot of women in the head to think that y'all need to be entitled and all this other stuff, spoiled, rotten, etc., etc.
Vulnerability. Men find vulnerable women irresistible. I am talking about strong, capable, intelligent women who voluntarily make themselves vulnerable, willing to need a man, allowing him to contribute to your life, willing to be known, the good, the bad, and the annoying.
Let me tell women a secret, because I feel like it's been told 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times, 1,000,000,000 times, and women just don't get it. A man wants to be needed, because when it comes down to it, the way that we have been, just not even how we've been programmed. That's just how we are as men. You know what I'm saying? Well, if you want to say we've been programmed by God to be this way, men, we want to be helpers, fixers. That's our first thought. You know what I'm saying? We're more literal and all that other good stuff. We want to be fixers. So if you're vulnerable with us, granted, we have to approach y'all differently when y'all are vulnerable with us, because y'all not always asking for us to fix something. Y'all just want to listen in ear. So I get that. But we want to feel as though that we're needed, that we're wanted. Just like how y'all be always wanting attention, wanting compliments, all that good stuff and all it. And this is just going more past the vulnerable part. We want that too. You know what I'm saying? Men want to be desired and all that other good stuff the same way women want that stuff.
And number 4, serenity. Men crave peace, especially after a long, hard day at work. Men are drawn to women who are at peace with themselves and their world, and who provide a safe, peaceful space.
I mean, that's point blank clear. Like, that is talked about amongst men all the time. I mean, that's probably number one on this list. Peace. We just want peace. Like, we ain't for all that arguing and that, you know what I'm saying, that being, we want a peaceful space. I don't even need to go into it. It's just whatever that peace is for that man, figure it out. Whether it's him, coming home and shoot, sometimes it's guys that want their bath water ran. Shoot, run his shower, have his cigar and a taste ready for him or something. You know what I'm saying? It's just certain things that men find. It's really a lot of simple things that we find peace in. And I just don't understand why, when it comes to romantic relationships, and social media is a part of it that plays into this and screws it up. But at the same time, social media to me is just like any other drug or vice that heightens where people already are in their life. Like, I look at social media just like money. So I feel like people are already feeling the way that they feeling, but they just have this stimulus that's pushing them to say or think the things that they already have inside of them further. And I don't understand why there just can't be more compassion, sympathy, and empathy for men coming from women. We are human too. Like, I get that, you know what I'm saying, like the being programmed and indoctrinated to have a certain mindset and stuff like that. But if it boggles my mind when women want these things, marriage, family, house, home, white picket fence, the fairy tale Disney stuff, but they don't take the time to listen to what men are saying to them, because they will easily get it, like literally easily get it. Oh man. Let me move on. I got another clip before I get into the Blackety Black woke segment. And this one is similar to the last clip. It aligns with it in a certain way. And let me pull it up. I got so many compartments where I got clips and topics and stuff in. Here you go, right here. All right.
When a man wants to get married, he's only getting married truly for one reason. Because let me be honest with you women, the men can work and provide for themselves. He does not necessarily need you to cook, clean, and have sex, because he can get sex from multiple women. They're giving it out. A lot of them can cook and clean. Their mother taught them, or they can pay someone to get it. So why would a man go past what the culture is telling him and choose to have a wife? Is for one real simple reason. Because with a wife, you can now have love, you can have support, you can have affection. So if that is not what you're leading with in your relationships with men, is love, support, nurturing, and respect, this is why your husband is now pulling away, because in the beginning you gave him those things. But as you got into the relationship, you got bitter, you got resentful, you start seeing his flaws, start counting that against him, you start measuring him against other men, and now you're pulling back on the love, the affection, and the nurturing.
Quick fashion.
Yeah. And yeah. I mean, I don't know what I don't really I don't really know what to say. Like, she said it all. Honestly, she said it all. But it's like nobody wants to hear what we gotta say, or what we feeling. Um, I talked about on the last episode how, you know, men feel as though that they can't speak because it'll get thrown in our face, or we aren't listened to, we aren't understood, and stuff like that. So, like, these are women that's saying it. But you'll have a lot of, particularly today, a lot of women look at it like the grass going to be green on the other side. So I'm going to just move on when it starts getting difficult, or when I'm not getting what I'm wanting. A lot of women don't know how to humble themselves and actually work. And it's funny because I was going to save this clip for another episode, but I'm just going to pivot. And this coming from a dude right here. This is a dude, he talking about his marriage, a clip that I just found today. I came across today. And I'm going to play it.
When we were at a really dark time in our marriage, when I did not want to be a husband, when I was over it, when I was tired and depressed and sad and annoyed and angry and all of these bad things, I used to say that, hey, we're not supposed to be together. Like, we don't match very well. Like, you don't want the things I want, I don't want the things you want. I even used to say things like, oh, there's someone out there better for you. They'll treat you better. They'll be better. And it was such a weak stance to take, because everything that she needed me to be, I had that potential. I just didn't want to put in the work to do it. I even thought like, oh, we've fallen out of love. And love is a choice. I was choosing not to love her the way that she was supposed to be loved. Happiness is a choice. I could have chosen to see the greatness in her and the greatness in our marriage, and I chose not to. You don't fall out of love. You choose not to love. I used to think that the grass is greener on the other side, but the grass is greenest where you water it. Marriage takes effort to put it in.
Yeah, and that's people really think that you come into relationships and you're supposed to know how to love a person. You're supposed to know how to treat them. You're supposed to already know their love languages and what they like and all this other stuff. And if you don't, then you moving on and all this other stuff. But from what I've learned, and I learn it a lot, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy because the more I've been going to therapy, the more I've been reading these books and stuff like that, it's easy just to say that you love somebody, but you really got to do work. And as difficult as it is, if you really want to be with somebody, you have to put in work. And I don't have all the answers. I definitely don't. That's why I'm always seeking the answers, which I probably shouldn't be doing. I probably should just let certain things just flow. But even if you put in that work, it may not work out, But I think we so caught up into this microwave mentality today because of social media and stuff like that, that we not trying to put in no work when it comes to romantic relationships. And it's crazy because we'll put in work for every damn thing else. We'll put in the effort for everything else. Degrees, jobs, parties, whatever. But we won't do it for romantic relationships. You'll have people saying, well, he not my husband. She not my wife. I don't have to do this. Why am I giving them wifey duties or husbandly duties? But think about all the things that you prepared for in your life that you've gotten or you've achieved. You've had to put in some type of preparation to get to that point. And that's no difference than being in a relationship. Like, if you aspire to have a husband or a wife and kids and a happy home, family, whatever you want to call it, whatever terms you want to use, you have to prepare yourself for it. I just don't, we get so caught up into the fears, the insecurities, not being embarrassed, how other people going to view us and all this other stuff, that we make these rash decisions that we really don't want to make, but we just want to look good for somebody else. Well, let me move on to the Blackety Black Woke segment. Damn, I just realized I didn't even officially introduce the show. But it's all good. I'm going to keep going. Blackety Black Woke segment. Now, I'm almost feeling like I don't want to do the Blackety Black Woke segment. But, yeah, it's just piggybacking off of everything so far. Like, each person in the relationship wants to feel wanted. They want to feel desired, etc. And it's always got to be one-sided. And that's just weird to me. It's just weird, but I mean, I get it because it's been going on for so long. But I came across this post on this attachment style page that I follow on Instagram, and it says your partner needs to feel wanted by you, to know you're willing to grow together, for you to notice the good they do for you, to know their feelings aren't quote unquote too much for you, to know their thoughts and ideas matter to you, to know you'll be there in times of need, to know, burp number 3, to know your heart, not just your head, to feel appreciated by you. And I'm speaking from experience, over my long years. We don't appreciate each other in the relationships. It's always, what have you done for me lately type situation. Always. And I'm saying this even for myself. I've done the same thing. Like, I will never sit on this podcast and act like I'm perfect or I do everything right. That's why I always make sure I use the word we, because I know I'm in that boat. But we don't appreciate each other enough. It's always, what have you done for me lately type situations. And it's sad. It's sad because, we throw away people's efforts, their feelings and emotions and all that away just because we are mad, angry, or whatever in the moment, in that actual moment. But Blackety Black Woke segment. Here we go. This how I'm gonna start. This how I'm starting off the Blackety Black woke segment.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
But I ain't finished yet. I ain't finished.
So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
Now, let me sit here and say, because I got to do this, because so many people are so sensitive and politically immature, as well as emotionally immature, that they will think that I'm playing these clips and look at it like I'm a Trump supporter. I ain't no Trump supporter. I ain't no Biden supporter. I'm a supporter of myself and my people, black Americans. And when it comes down to it, we keep getting played and people just keep going along with it. I mean, for real. Like, let me play it for y'all again.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
They have done everything for Ukraine, Israel, the migrants that's been coming over here, the Asians. Shit. We can't get nothing. But once again, they throw some fear out there, but we already caught up and indoctrinated in the fear already. So every 4 years we pushing the same crap onto each other, projecting, just straight projecting. And now you got, shoot, it's a joke. The BET Awards, they was like, they don't call it BET Awards. They call it the DNC Awards. You had that whole award show catered to black women. Their strongest base, right? You know, and it's just crazy. Like, they playing y'all. I talk about it so much on this podcast, how they be playing black women and they be getting them caught up into this emotional fear-mongering type shit. Like, the black community, the quote-unquote black community in America, black Americans are straight up politically immature and political chumps. It is what it is. It is what it is. And it's not like, you know what I'm saying, I'm just coming out my ass saying this or whatever. Malcolm said this, 60 years ago? I don't even know what's the time of it, but I'm going to play the clip, though.
There 4 years. And all other legislation they wanted to bring up, they brought it up and gotten it out of the way, and now they bring up you. And now they bring up you. You put them first, and they put you last. Because you're a chump. A political chump. In Washington, D.C., in the House of Representatives, there are 257 who are Democrats. Only 177 are Republican. In the Senate, there are 67 Democrats. Only 33 are Republicans. The party that you bash controls 2/3 of the House of Representatives and the Senate, and still they can't keep their promise to you, because you're a chump. Anytime you throw your weight behind a political party that controls 2/3 of the government, and that party can't keep the promise that it made to you during election time, and you are dumb enough to walk around continuing to identify yourself with that party, you're not only a chump, but you're a traitor to your race. And what kind of alibi do they come up with? They try and pass the buck to the Dixiecrats. Now, back during the days when you were blind, deaf, and dumb, ignorant, politically immature, naturally you went along with that. But today, as your eyes come open and you develop political maturity, you're able to see and think for yourself. And you can see that a Dixiecrat is nothing but a Democrat in disguise. You look at the structure of the government that controls this country. It's controlled by 16 senatorial committees and 20 congressional committees. Of the 16 senatorial committees that run the government, 10 of them are in the hands of Southern segregationists. Of the 20 congressional committees that run the government, 12 of them are in the hands of Southern segregationists. And they're going to tell you and me that the South lost the war.
Hey, like, the shit has been going on long enough. I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm all for people doing whatever they feel they need to do, what they got to do, whatever. Like, that's what this podcast is all about. I'm just giving you something different to consider. You know, people these days are so emotionally immature that they don't want to hear nobody's difference of opinion than theirs. And when it comes down to politics and black people, it proves itself every time. We are emotionally and politically immature. It's about facts. We rather listen to what somebody else is telling us as opposed to doing research for ourselves. And it's so damn easy. Y'all Google every damn thing else, but you can't Google what you claim is important to you politically. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. We had this presidential debate, and people were so damn up in arms about Trump saying black jobs. Oh my goodness, man. This proves how emotionally and politically immature that black people are. You know what the hell he was talking about when he said black jobs. Literally, you knew what he was talking about. And then the crazy thing about it is that the crazy thing about it is that y'all missed the whole point of what he was saying. Like I said, I'm not a Trump supporter, but what he was talking about in that point in time directly affects us. But we didn't want to hear it because we got too emotional. He was explaining what I've been talking about on this podcast for a couple of years already, about how the Democratic Party and the Biden administration has been bringing these migrants over here to build their base, their new political base. Just straight shit on us. Come to us when they're desperate. Come to award shows, fund award shows, and throwing all these stuff out there to the black community now that they're desperate because they see that they're losing their most supportive base. And when it comes down to it, a lot of the migrants that they bringing over here they're more conservative than they are liberal. It's just crazy. And then another thing about the debate, people kept talking about how Trump was lying and all that other stuff. Trump is a character. I get that. Trump is arrogant. That nigga do be lying. I understand that. But it's like people, particularly black people, be so blind to the shit that the Democrats be doing to us. I haven't been a registered Democrat for years. I'm a registered independent. And all of this shit is fake. It's two different sides that's on, two different wings that's on the same damn bird. That's how they rocking. The Democrats lie just like the Republicans lie. Biden lies just like Trump lies. Kamala lies just like all the other motherfuckers lie. But people don't want to see that. Let me pull up this clip of Joe Biden lying. Now, this clip starts in 1987. It's of Joe Biden lying over 25 times about marching and being part of the civil rights movement.
When I marched in the civil rights movement, he lied to voters, according to the New York Times, quoting aides of Biden's, about having marched in the civil rights movement.
I got involved in the civil rights movement. I got involved in desegregated movie theaters. They organized voter registration drives from the time I got involved as a high school kid in the civil rights movement. But I was a kid involved in the civil rights movement, desegregating restaurants. I got involved in the civil rights movement. From the time I've been 18 years old, I've been involved in causes from the civil rights movement. I got involved in the civil rights movement and getting ready to go out and desegregate restaurants and movie theaters. That's what got me involved in civil rights as a kid. I got very engaged, in my case, in the civil rights movement.
Quote, more than once, advisors had gently reminded Mr. Biden of the problem with this formulation. He had not actually marched during the civil rights movement, and more than once, Mr. Biden assured them that he understood and kept telling the story anyway. That is really, really weird.
When I marched...
And that was a liberal news station coming from CNN. So, like, it's not about, like I said, it's not about me trying to tell people who to vote for and stuff like that. But keep it fair. Open your eyes, open your ears to what both of them doing. We need to be holding both of them accountable. And it seems like people don't want to do that. They just so caught up into it like it's a football game or a basketball game or whatever, and we just picking sides, and that's all we care about. Nobody putting any type of effort to learn anything about the candidates for real and what they've been doing over the years. But they just, keep it to what they know. But let me play another Joe Biden clip for you. This is him doing the crime bill, locking all of, our uncles, dads, all them people up and stuff like that. Just the things that he was saying about, us.
For love, brother, and humanity, although I think that's a good instinct, but for simple, pragmatic reasons. If we don't, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets that society has, in fact, in part because of its neglect, created. Again, it does not mean because we created them that we somehow forgive them or do not take them out of society to protect my family and yours from them. They are beyond the pale, many of those people. Beyond the pale. And it's a sad commentary on society. We have no choice but to take them out of society.
Take them out of society. Predators. Those predators that he's talking about is y'all family members. He's talking about us. But, Dirk, why you not playing nothing that Trump be saying? Why I gotta play it? Y'all already know what he been saying. Y'all already so caught up and indoctrinated in y'all hatred for Trump. Why do I need to play anything? Let's hear both sides. Let's hold both of them accountable. Why isn't it that we're coming together and putting ourselves first as opposed to our feelings or the fear mongering that has been projected upon us or what's been sold to us? You got this black job stuff, black job this, black job that. Y'all know what the hell you've been talking about. Our granddaddies, shoot, some of our parents was working these black jobs to provide for the family. Like, we've been gone, like, it's about to be 4 years that Biden has been in office. And we've just accepted that bullshit that we've been seeing on TV over and over again of him being incompetent. Like, so who's really running the country? Who has been really running the country these past 4 years? Like, literally. Like, the Biden administration just recently gave Ukraine $2.3 billion more. There's a report that just came out that said the United States is about to declare Ukraine as being corrupt. So y'all just figuring this out. Y'all just figuring this out. Y'all been giving them all this money and all this other stuff. They so corrupt that they don't want to allow them to be a part of the United Nations. Black Americans are the poorest and most unemployed demographic in the United States, but we offended by the term black jobs. We fucking emotionally immature. We politically immature. We can say and celebrate black owned businesses, black excellence, black girl magic, black joy, black love, but it's something wrong with black jobs. Come on now. Y'all know what the hell black jobs are. And when we come down to context, that ain't even what Trump was talking about. He was saying that these migrants that they bringing over here are going to steal opportunities, also known as black jobs, from black people. You got black church, black businesses, it's just like only because it's coming from Trump. Now people all up in arms. Like I said, I'm not a Trump supporter. That nigga is a goofball. He's a goofball. he's a goofball. Like, the fact that people in that political realm can't stand him so much is because he's anti politics. He isn't a part of their circle. He's a businessman, and he infiltrated their circle. Them politicians have been up and down the Senate and the Congress and all that other stuff, getting money and all that, making relationships, working with these corporations and stuff like that. And then you got this dude, an outsider, coming in and got to the top without doing nothing. Coming down the escalator, he got the top spot. But I'm gonna play a clip. Let me pull this up. Once I find it. Here we go right here.
I hope y'all shoulders is all that reaching y'all doing.
Is that his big kill on the black people is the millions of people that he's allowed to come in through the border. They're taking black jobs now, and it could be 18, it could be 19, and even 20 million people. They're taking black jobs, and they're taking Hispanic jobs, and you haven't seen it yet, but you're going to see something that's going to be the worst in our history.
Stop the cap. Y'all know exactly what Donnie T meant by black and Hispanic jobs. We all know that in the workforce, there are jobs that black people and Hispanic people are predominant in. Like construction, any labor skill, really. Landscaping, food service, and the list goes on and on. But instead of listening to Donnie T's message, you guys are grasping at straws trying to find out how to be mad at him.
Right.
Let's be real. Illegal aliens coming in here and taking jobs from American citizens.
Exactly.
i.e. black and Hispanic Americans.
Exactly.
And let's be real, the jobs they're taking are low-skilled jobs that, let's be real, black and Hispanic people work predominantly. And to sit here and make an argument that Donald Trump was being racist by bringing that shit up is intellectually lazy and dishonest.
Exactly.
Anyway, it's Keion Hotep saying, wake the fuck up.
This shit is he's exactly right. It's lazy and it's immature. Y'all know what the hell he was talking about. Bird number 4, 5, and 6, I guess. But yeah, man, we gotta stop it. We got to stop it. We got to stop with this emotionally immature shit, this politically immature crap, and start waking the hell up. Or we going like, why y'all getting caught up into this fear mongering crap? We've been dealing with this crap. Black Americans have been dealing with this crap for centuries when it comes to these corrupt ass politicians and all this crap where we've been having injustices against us. Like, Black Americans are owed reparations. Like, we have and still have these fears of being shot and gunned down in the street, like it was during the Obama administration. We have these fears of these Republican monsters during the Reagan era, during the first Bush era, during the second Bush era. Like, we've had these fears. Like, we've gone through this enough to understand that we need to stop falling for this fear mongering from the Democratic Party. When are we going to come together like all the other races and ethnicities in America and start pulling our shit together and demanding what we are owed? That is the reason why Dr. Martin Luther King was killed, because he got to the point where he was like, we coming for what we are owed. One of his last sermon speeches, that's what he said. We are coming for what we are owed. And they shot him down right there in Memphis before he came to Washington, D.C. to demand it. I wish I had the clip now with me, but I played it several times on this podcast before. But let me move on to another clip. Here we go right here. Angela Rye. This is the title of the clip. Angela Rye cries after confessing, quote unquote confessing, Black America isn't listening to them. We don't want to listen to y'all black pundits, y'all quote unquote black experts on these news channels or whatever, because y'all been selling us down the river and telling us lies and being shields and puppets for the Democratic Party. Y'all haven't been giving us no knowledge. Y'all haven't been giving us any facts, any truths.
Like, sometimes when people are so hurt and damaged, they go and do the other extreme thing, and it is not okay, and it's not cool, but it doesn't just happen politically. And I think it is...
We got to stop this lesser of two evil shit and this... my goodness, bruh. She was really crying. Like, I really like Angela Rye, but I can't believe this. Like, you know what I'm saying? This shit is crazy. Like, that we keep falling for this. This is like clear Stockholm syndrome, that we just straight caught up and we just keep doing, man, we keep running these same cycles over and over again politically.
Responsible. Had stuff to say about when a Washington Post article came out about Black people in Detroit not wanting to vote for Joe Biden and potentially voting for Donald Trump. That's how we end up losing engagement.
I totally agree.
Literally, like, we're in a place now where this is so narrowed down and so refined and so.
And this comes down to any type of content. Like, if you're talking about music, movies, television, you got podcasts today, news, all that other stuff. People are going to connect with vulnerability, with truths, with people's truths and vulnerability. But if you keep giving out this inauthentic shit, people aren't going to connect with it. Because at some point, those actions aren't going to align with those words. Words and actions have to align. At some point, somebody can tell you a lie all damn day, but then they're going to be exposed by their actions. And that's what's happening today with these political parties and these political experts and pundits and all this other bullshit. The words and the actions ain't fucking aligning. Like, seriously.
Like, we're not engaging people anymore.
I don't receive that.
It's true. Like, look at the numbers.
I give Angela credit for admitting the truth, but it is still simultaneously disturbing because guess what? Her tears formed because she's concerned about Donald Trump taking office and not about whether or not Black folks are going to receive reparations, economic justice, other forms of legal justice in terms of protections like other groups get. Will the gerrymandering stop for us? Will the redlining stop for us? Will we get true substantive criminal justice reform? She's not a...
Like, we're still being shitted on to this day. Like, literally, these migrants coming over here staying in luxury hotels, they kicking people out the hotels to put these bammers in there. These bammers getting checks. They getting IDs, jobs. Come on now. Like, come on, wake the fuck up. Like, oh my goodness.
Tripping about that. She's tripping about Donald Trump, which means she's D1 and not B1. D1 is what I call Democrat first and not B1, which stands for Black first.
Exactly. When it comes down to Black Americans, we never put Black people first, being Black first. We put everything else before that. We put a political party before that. We put a sexual orientation before that, et cetera, instead of Black first.
Somehow they still think that Donald Trump, the only thing to talk about is the fact that he's a racist. Well, Joe Biden is that. Joe Biden was the mastermind behind the 94 crime that's responsible for destroying at least 2 generations of Black folks since Jim Crow. Joe Biden has equally said public things that were anti-Black and racist. Most recently when he said that America is doomed in part because of Black folks and because the Europeans in the United States are going to be the minority by 2040. They let all that go. Yes, Trump is outrageous and certainly a suspected white supremacist. But the fact that they can't admit the same about Joe Biden shows us that they don't care.
Exactly, man.
That he's not pushing.
This shit it's just wild. It's wild. It's sad. It's frustrating. But it's like, hey, what can you do? We just gonna keep going through the cycles and keep talking in circles. We literally gonna be talking in circles. But I'm gonna move on from the Blackety Black Woke segment. But I at least want to speak on something positive with a politician, and a politician that's in my state, Maryland, the Maryland State Governor, Governor Westmore, recently. Where is it? I want to make sure I read it properly. Governor Westmore to mass pardon more than 175,000 marijuana convictions. I applaud him for doing that. That is something that needs to be done countrywide, but this is a start. He's done this statewide in Maryland, and I applaud him for that. That's something, is very, it's just a great thing, so I'm not going to sit here and shit on all politicians, but I definitely feel like, being a politician, at some point you're going to have to be corrupt. You're going to have to will and deal and make some type of deals to get something you want and compromise yourself at some point. But, I want to celebrate when a person actually does something good, and this was something good. Governor Westmore of Maryland to mass pardon more than 175,000 marijuana convictions. Shout out to him. Yeah, that's the end of the Blackety Black Woke segment. Now I can calm down a little bit. I can calm down a little bit. But let's get back into the other part of the show. All right, where I'm at. Let me look at my outline. Where I'm at. All right. This is a clip from Pastor Keion, why men can't open up and be vulnerable. I feel like I played this joint on the show before. I probably did, but sometimes I do repeat clips because they are relevant and important to repeat. So here we go. Pastor Keion.
When he really opens up, don't you use what he said when he was open to prove a point when you want to win an argument. You will never hear the full story from us ever again. And we'll start to say stuff like this. How are you? Good. I ain't good, but I just ain't telling you. If I tell you something in a moment of vulnerability and you use it against me in an argument, you can forget me talking to you forever. And you keep talking about he quiet, he shut down, he's in his man cave, he won't open up because when he did open up, you shut the door on him.
Shut the door.
When Eddie Murphy was...
Shut the door. Shut the door. Shut the door on him. Yeah, I mean, I've already said this, but I thought, you know what I'm saying, it was a good clip. It was relevant to some of the other topics on the show. And, man, it's real, you know. I mean, there ain't no stretch behind it, you know. It's not nothing that, you know, us men be making up when we say it, especially for the fact that multiple men say it on a regular basis. So, yeah. You know, just we human just like y'all. We have feelings and emotions just like y'all do. You know, we may not be, you know, emotionally intelligent all the time, have that emotional intelligence or the emotional immaturity, but y'all don't either. Let's stop this. Like I've said it on this podcast plenty of times. Just because women are more emotional don't mean that they are emotionally mature or emotionally intelligent. Y'all just ain't. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, get mad if you want, but that's just what it is. And if you triggered by it, that mean that it's true. Oh, man. But let me pull up the next clip. Oh.
Before you know it, you're talking about how what you said made her feel. And then it becomes about, not about what you're saying and how it made you feel. It becomes about what you said to her and how it makes her feel and how she's upset with you about how you said it. And you're like, I came here to talk about how I'm in pain. And now it's talking about you. It's centering you. Because again, often for many people, it's just like, I feel like I'm being attacked. It feels like I'm being blamed. The defensiveness comes up. And again, I don't want brothers to be dissuaded of being open because they think that me being open means I got to share it with her.
Yeah, I mean, like everybody, man or woman, man and woman, should have their moment to address things that they're feeling. But what our experiences are is when we bring up something, then there gotta be a tit for tat game. It gotta be a thing where we can't have our moment and y'all steal our moment to bring up something that y'all have been feeling for months or years or whatever, or something that y'all have already brought up before, or y'all playing this, like I said, tit for tat game. And it's like, bruh, can we just have our moment? We just trying to get something out. And a lot of times it's like, we not even being like rah about it. But it's always a quick defense on the other end to start throwing something else out there or whatever. And that is not cool. That is not proper communication. That is not compromising. That is not being compassionate. That is not being empathetic. That is not being nothing. That is you being combative. And if a man is trying to be vulnerable, that's because it's really important to him. Like most men, you know what I'm saying? Let me move on. But yeah, it's
Before
real.
you know it, you're
the video was titled "Women Don't Listen to Men's Struggles."
Before you know it,
and it's
Before
kind
you know
of
it,
it's
you're-
kind of true. And it's sad at the same time, but yeah, I mean, what can you do? What can you do? I mean, I don't know. Where I'm at. Okay. All right, this joint right here. All right, yeah. Going back from my outline to my photos with some of the video clips are to my text messages where I save certain things or sent certain things to me. It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. But here's to go to the next clip right here.
If you keep his stomach full, his balls empty, and his mind clear, you'll be fine.
Eli feeling this one today.
The salad. You were interested in this man because some part of you admired his lifestyle. Money, status, education, wisdom, whatever the case may be. Do not add problems to his lifestyle. Level 2. There are inherently some problems that he has, either maintaining his lifestyle or scaling it, right? If you can identify those problems better than other women, make yourself a solution to those problems, you become indispensable to his lifestyle. Maybe he didn't even like you, but now he needs you. But third, and this is where I think most women screw up, do not disrespect that man. Now, there is overt disrespect. That one's easy. Like, don't call him out of his name. Don't yell at him. Don't assault him. Different things like that. I think where most of our women in particular, where they mess up as far as disrespect, is the belittling.
I think it's belittling. I agree with him, as well as dismissing his feelings. And that's piggybacking on the last clip or whatever. Not giving him the opportunity to be vulnerable and have his moment. You got to allow a person to have their moment. It's just respectful. Like, you can't steal somebody's moment just because you trying to get your stuff out. You have to listen to understand so you can respond, not just listen so you can hurry up and respond.
How do you talk to that man? He put it very simply. He said, if you would not say this in this way to your supervisor, if you're interested in keeping your job, do not say this in this way to your man.
Right. Men, particularly black men, we are the least respected. A dog get more respect than us. Another man get more respect than us. A boss get more respect than us, et cetera, et cetera. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you what I observe, and I'm great at observing things. I'm very analytical, so whatever. I don't care. You ain't gotta believe me. But seriously, when I talk about these things or whatever, I'm not trying to be combative. I'm not trying to be, you know what I'm saying, rude or anything like that. I'm trying to help the collective because I care about the quote-unquote black community. I care about the quote-unquote black family. I quote-unquote care about the black man and the black woman. I quote-unquote care about the black children because I've experienced where conflict has effed up a child and now he's older and he's effing up another relationship that is effing up possibly another child and et cetera, et cetera. This is a cycle. When we talk about these broken cycles and this cycle breaking and all this other stuff, this is exactly what we're talking about. But everybody be so caught up in being selfish and entitled and thinking only about themselves and their fears and insecurities. And that's why these type of topics, the book I referenced with the attachment styles and stuff, that's why this stuff is important, because we have to see things from the gray area. Everything isn't black and white. It would be easy. It would be great. I wish everything could be black and white, so none of us could be going through any of these emotional and mental things. But that's not the case. There's gray areas and there's layers to everything. People have past. People have traumas. People have insecurities, fears, et cetera, and they are all different than everybody else's. But yeah, I thought it was nice to keep playing that music afterwards. But we're going to move on to the next clip. Let's go.
Women don't have a problem communicating as long as the problem is outside of her. You see what I'm saying? When we get to talking about communication, a lot of women are open as hell to it when you complaining to her about your homeboy who not doing right. Or you complaining to her about your career that may not be going how you wanted to go. But when she's the issue,
they got all the support there.
The communication don't be as back and forth. It don't be as open. It don't be like it should be. Now all of a sudden it's super defensiveness. Now all of a sudden you're not letting me finish sentences.
Exactly.
Now all of a sudden
so
it
the
becomes
same,
a bunch of resistance.
Okay, so let's talk about it.
Won't even let the man finish.
Y'all say that as men, y'all want women to create a safe space for y'all. Sometimes you have to do that for us too. So just like y'all want us to cut up things in sizes that's digestible for y'all, maybe y'all can tell us things in ways that's digestible for us as well.
But he was just doing that. And you see how she cut him off because she was in her feelings, because she was defensive. It never fails. It never fails from our point of view. It never fails. Oh, my goodness, man. Let me move on to the next one.
Okay, hear me out. We have got to stop criticizing, condescending, and tearing down our partners and expecting them not to withdraw. Because we do this so much and then our person withdraws from us and now we're trying to pull information out and get that attention back. Despite what most people might think, I believe that men want relationships. I believe real men want love. However,
Absolutely.
Men are peace-seeking creatures.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
when he's already caring.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Let me go back to the clip. I don't know what the hell happened. My forearm hit the phone. So I'm about to play that clip over again. All right. Let me start from the beginning. But she started off good though.
Okay, hear me out. We have got to stop criticizing, condescending, and tearing down our partners and expecting them not to withdraw. Because we do this so much and then our person withdraws from us and now we're trying to pull information out and get that attention back. Despite what most people might think, I believe that men want relationships. I believe real men want love. However, men are peace-seeking creatures. So when he's already carrying the world on his back, he needs to have something that's peaceful. We're so busy pointing out their flaws when they usually overlook ours. And I will say this, when you are someone who picks and condescends and you're constantly trying to show someone else how they're wrong, that's usually a deflection of accountability.
Yes. Not being accountable, dismissing the man's feelings, etc., etc. I can go on and on and on. At this point, I can just sit here and play clips. I ain't even got to talk. But nah, I'm just playing. Yeah. She on point. I mean, and that's what a lot of men from my experience talk about. They talk about how the past couple of clips have been talking about the same thing, how a man tries to be vulnerable, have his moment and stuff like that, but it gets thrown back in his face or it starts a tit-for-tat war. You know, he feels as though that he isn't important. His feelings are important, etc., etc. Burp number, I don't know. I don't remember. Burp number, I don't know. I don't remember. But let me pivot a little bit because one of them topics, I think the clip before last kind of made me go, like, this is something that I just saved today that I was going to wait for later. But this from licensed therapist Bashir Williams. He posted today, he said, when you enter into a partnership, life should feel lighter. The things you've been carrying aren't as heavy now that you're no longer alone. If that's true for you, then acknowledge how your partner's load got heavier in the area yours has gotten lighter, especially when it's time to show up for them, because the weight didn't go away. They're helping you carry it. Couples often get into disagreements or disconnection when measuring the quote-unquote weight of the relationship. And that comes down to those dumbass cliches, happy wife, happy life, and all that other stuff. Instead of being, I forgot the term that I used to use all the time. But it should be just happy person, happy couple. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be no one. It's always geared towards the woman. You know, at one point, like years ago when we was doing the You and You podcast, Unproductive, Unapologetic, I used to say happy dude, happy mood, but that was even wrong. It's supposed to be a collective, man. You and this partnership together. But back to the rest of the post. Couples often get into disagreements of disconnection when measuring the quote unquote weight of the relationship. Partnership becomes competition. Compliments become comparative. Also, they miss how much they no longer have to carry alone. If we would take a moment to recognize how much each other provides for each other, we will be able to be more appreciative, supportive, and understanding. Take a deep breath before you respond and allow yourself to see the full scope of your relationship dynamic. If it feels unbalanced, discuss fairly. We often get comfortable and used to life being lighter or don't recognize how much we show up for each other. And that goes back to what I was saying. Like, it's always this mindset of what have you done for me later in relationships. It's never no thing of, actually fully valuing and appreciating the person that you're in a relationship with. It's all about what have you done for me lately. And that is wrong way to be going, through a relationship. It really is. But let me move on. I'm about to finish up because it's getting to that time, and I'm getting hungry. Let me play this clip real quick. All right, pull it up.
We live in a society that has this attitude of rejection across the board in just about every single relationship. Especially in romantic relationships, you may be a person who has not yet developed an attitude of acceptance and is showing up. If you have an attitude of rejection, that means that it's hard for you to understand that your partner is going to have differences from you. You may see those differences as deficiencies. It's hard for you to realize that your partner is unique, that they are human and they're going to make mistakes. Now, this is not saying that you have to tolerate any type of harmful behavior, because if that's the case, you got to do some other work. But this is just you acknowledging that this person has a different point of view from you, and that is okay. This person has different experiences from you, and that is okay. This person is different from you, and that is okay. It should not be a threat. How would you know you have an attitude of rejection? For one, you don't acknowledge their point of view. That's not how it happened. No, I did not make you feel that way. No, I need to correct that. That's their point of view, not yours. Even if you simply do not agree, you need to try to understand their point of view. Hand clap for empathy. If they are expressing their point of view, or else they are sharing their perspective with you, you're constantly interrupting, analyzing, and evaluating what it is that they're saying. You're constantly looking for inaccuracies that you can correct. Stop trying to defend your position. They should be able to speak freely without worrying about you bullying them. If you don't understand, ask for more information. Stop prematurely leaving the conversation. Do you know what that communicates to them? If you want someone to know that their stance and how they feel and what they think is not important, do that. Walk away. Show that you are actually engaged in the conversation. You don't encourage them to open up. You shut them out. You minimize them. You dismiss them. Don't even let me get started on downplaying what somebody is interested in. You need to be willing to show this person appreciation for the smallest things that they do. If you see that a person is trying, stop rejecting the idea that they're trying. If you're just looking at the progress and how fast the progress is actually going, then you're probably missing out on what this person is actually doing.
And I've been guilty of that, in romantic relationships. I've been guilty of, wanting the speed of their healing or their corrections and stuff to be a certain way. And that was wrong. That was selfish. But that comes down to a lot of what I was talking about. There's a lot of selfishness and a lot of immaturity when it comes to the romantic relationships. Not saying that it can never happen, but we got to find a different way to work through these things instead of just jumping up. Well, fuck it, I'm going to end the relationship, or I'm going to go off and do this, or I'm going to seek this person's attention and all this other stuff, it's just a lot. But let me finish the clip. I shouldn't even cut it off, but I just felt that I needed to.
Show appreciation for even the smallest things, because it's going to constantly motivate them to do better and better. A lot of people don't enter relationships with healthy skill sets. They don't know how to communicate. They don't know.
And that's something I definitely had to pause in on this. A lot of people don't realize when you in a romantic relationship, just showing appreciation will give the other person the fuel and the desire to do more. And from a man's perspective, we don't get that. We don't get the compliments. We don't get the attention. We don't get the vulnerability. We don't get the attentiveness, the receptiveness. You know what I'm saying? You see where all of this, you see how I put all of this together? Like, I did this in a week. Like I did this in a couple of days. You see what I'm talking about right here? This is all this aligns together.
How to navigate conflict. They don't know how to approach confrontation and how to problem solve. And a lot of people have to learn a new skill set when they enter that relationship. So as you see that they are learning, reward them. Be willing to solve problems and invite them to solve problems too. If you're constantly worrying about who is at fault and who did who wrong, you're not going to invite this person to solve problems. Be patient as you all are navigating the problems. You can't rush problems and resolution all the time, because you probably won't receive the lesson in it. Develop more of an attitude of acceptance. You will see the change in your relationship dynamic. If you want to see the growth in that person, if you want this person to be more involved and more willing, be more accepting. That means that you are being more flexible and you are willing to compromise. I wish you all the best. Happy, healthy relationships, y'all. Bye.
Yeah. We, and you hear him saying we got to be more appreciative. We got to be more receptive. We got to be more accepting. We got to be more understanding of, that people got shit going on. Everybody got something. I mean, like, but are you willing to compromise and work on those things? There's a difference between sacrifice and compromising. And, I mean, I could go into that now. I'm not. Maybe I'll go into it later, but look it up. Look up the damn definitions. I remember being a kid, and anytime I wanted to learn the meaning of a word, I had to look it up. So look that shit up. But yeah, let me move on to the next clip. I only got like a couple of more, then I'm in the show off. So it's gonna go over a little bit over an hour and 30 minutes. But yeah, I mean, when you think about it, sit back and think about it. Like, coming from a man's perspective, men, we are taught how to treat women, but women are only taught how to be treated. Think about that. Like, really sit with that. Men are taught how to treat women, and women are taught only how to be treated. And that's not balanced. That's unbalanced right there. So think about that. Think about how a lot of people have been, men and women, have been programmed and indoctrinated to think that way based off of their gender, and how that can cause an imbalance in romantic relationships. Think about it. Just think about it.
We live in as women is believing that we have high emotional intelligence. And setting the record straight, women have no emotional intelligence. The reason that as women we want to believe we have emotional intelligence is because we are emotional. Because we are emotional, as women, we want to think we have high emotional intelligence. But the truth is the fact that we are highly emotional is actually the biggest indicator that we have very low emotional intelligence, because being emotional is having no control over our emotional state,
right?
Which is low emotional intelligence. High emotional intelligence is the ability to be pragmatic, to see things realistically, and to make choices and respond to life not from an emotional place. It's the ability to be in control of our emotional state and operate in life from that place.
My barber, he always be telling me, about how to pick your wife or whatever. And he will always say, make sure you find a woman who isn't quick to anger. And when she does get angry, that she doesn't stay angry for long. Let me move on to the next clip. Like sometimes you just gotta leave stuff where it is. And you gotta sit with it. But yeah, just like with the emotion stuff, just because women are more emotional don't mean that they're emotionally mature or intelligent. And also, you'll have this narrative out here that because women are more emotional than men, that they are better at communicating than men. And that is totally wrong. Because a lot of women are emotional, they jump to conclusions, they assume, they overthink. So they not listening, they not understanding, they not comprehending. And what you think that's going to do with the communication? So it can't always be this finger pointing at men or the blame is being on men. When just because society says that, or that's the narrative that's always been pushed out, when the actual factuals of it is showing that there's an imbalance on both ends. And we have to learn how to work together correctly. This is not about blaming one side. This is about pointing out both sides so there can be a compromise.
Quick tip for my ladies. If you know that you are dealing with a man who is very literal, then try to avoid making such vague and ambiguous requests. What I mean by this is if you are asking him for things like emotional support, security, quality time, reassurance, more romance, understand that all of these things are subjective. It means something different for you than it's going to mean to the next woman and the next woman, and it's definitely going to mean something different for most of our men because they usually don't think like we think, right? So let's say, for example, you're asking him for emotional support. Emotional support to you might sound like you venting and expressing your thoughts and your feelings, and he's simply being a listening ear and not trying to solve the problem. While emotional support to the next woman might be him saying something that's reassuring while he's holding her, right? Or let's say, for example, you're asking him for more quality time. He might think that quality time looks like the two of you occupying the same space at the same time together. So maybe he's on his video game or working on his computer and you're sitting right next to him on your phone or doing whatever you're doing. Maybe in his mind, he's thinking that's quality time, while the whole time you're thinking that quality time means the two of you have absolutely no distractions. You're giving each other your undivided attention, or perhaps you're participating in an activity together. And when we specify what we do is we give our men very subtle instructions on how to succeed with us. When we continue to set them up for failure, then eventually they come to the conclusion that we're hard to please, we are hard to satisfy, they can't make us happy, we keep moving the goalposts, and eventually they're just going to stop trying, right? And you don't want that to happen because no one wins in that situation. So again, when you have a request and you're dealing with a man who is very literal, try your best to be specific.
I'm going to piggyback over what she's saying. All men are literal. Well, I ain't gonna say that. Let me backtrack. I shouldn't have said that. I've had a couple of tastes. I shouldn't have said that. All men aren't literal. Most men are literal. There is a pocket of men out here that will do anything that a woman says. Is what they call them, simps. Yeah. But most men are 100% literal. So this is what it calls for both sides being balanced. Both sides being balanced and really communicating with each other, having that compromise and stuff like that. But yeah, moving on to the next clip. I got like 1 or 2 more clips and then I'm done. I think this is the last clip though, honestly. Yeah, I think that this is the last joint right here. Yeah, this is the last one. And we about to the hour and 45-minute mark. So that's cool. I actually got through all of this, even though I got some left that I wanted to have in the show, but this'll do. And I'll just revisit the other stuff later. So let me pull up this next clip right here. Let me see. Let me find that joint. Let me see. All right, here we go right here. This one says, women don't mean what they say.
Women will say all kinds of stuff that's completely disconnected from reality. For example, a woman will say,
I want a man that's vulnerable, that just opens up to me.
the second a man unbirds himself on a woman, she loses respect and attraction for him. Or a woman will say,
No, all I want is a nice guy. I want a guy that just treats me like a princess and takes care of me and is a really good guy.
the second they get the nice guy, they drop him for the dirtbag. Or you'll hear women say, baby, are you okay?
I'm fine.
You trust her when she says, you're wrong. Like, she's not fine. You have to trust what she's doing. What is transpiring with her body language? Too many guys take women at face value. A woman will say, I want this, or this is how I feel, and then they will operate on that because that's how we are as guys. We use our words to communicate, not our emotions. If you want to have an effective relationship with a woman, as a man, you have to learn this. This is vital that you learn. Never trust what a woman says, trust what she does. If what she says aligns with what she does, then you can trust what she says.
Exactly.
But if that is not happening, you always follow the body language. You got to recognize that women are going to communicate with their emotions and men are going to communicate with their words. You can take a man at his word because he's going to say what he actually thinks and feels most of the time. You take a woman at her emotions, which means you watch what she does because her emotions will dictate how she acts 100% of the time.
Hey, man. While I was sitting there listening to that clip, I was just thinking to myself, you know what I'm saying? Just piggybacking on the earlier story about achievements and stuff, I put together a great-ass show. The way I segue all these clips and topics together, man, I'm proud of myself, man. That shit was, like, effortless. Like, the way that shit just flowed. But yeah, I mean, like, do I have to keep repeating myself? You see what has been said throughout this whole episode. Like, there has to be more balance. There has to be more understanding. There has to be more connectedness. There has to be more humbleness, accountability. I mean, I can keep going, but I'm not because I gotta use the bathroom. But man, this has been a great episode. I've enjoyed myself so much. So, shout out to everybody who has watched the episode on YouTube. Shout out to everybody who have listened to it on Spotify, Apple, and all the other streaming services. Shout out to everybody, the subscribers, supporters, all that good stuff. Like I said, it costs you nothing. Make sure you download, subscribe, comment, all that other stuff. Send me feedback. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all, I mean, I get feedback all the time, but send more. So I'm going to end it off. Since I didn't get to officially introduce the show, it's a Taste to Consider podcast. I'm your host, Derek Silver, and I'm out.